If you could peel back the layers of 2,000 years of dust and limestone in Jerusalem, you would find a coordinate where the laws of nature simply ceased to function. We think of history as a slow, predictable crawl of cause and effect, but the archaeology of first-century Judea tells a different story, one of sudden, violent disruptions by the divine. In the heart of a world ruled by Roman steel and religious tradition, a single word once shattered the silence of the limestone. Today, we are looking for the exact physical anchors where heaven touched the earth, beginning at a place many thought was a myth until the earth finally gave up its secrets. For centuries, scholars doubted the existence of the Pool of Bethesda as described in the ancient texts. They argued that a pool with 5 porches was an architectural impossibility, a symbolic invention rather than a real place. But recent 2026 site scans have changed the conversation entirely. Using high-resolution ground-penetrating radar and subsurface imaging, we can now see the complex geometry of this massive double-basin structure. It wasn't a single pool, but a sophisticated hydraulic system surrounded by 4 perimeter colonnades and a 5th one cutting right through the middle, separating the northern and southern reservoirs. Imagine this space as it was, a sprawling, humid complex of stone and shadow. The 5 porches were not places of luxury, but of desperate waiting. Hundreds of people, the blind, the lame, the paralyzed, crowded into these corridors, their lives defined by the stagnant air and the faint hope of a miracle. The scans revealed deep limestone steps descending into the water, worn smooth by the feet of thousands who believed that an occasional disturbance in the pool offered a rare competitive chance at healing. It was a place of ritual, a place of folklore, and a place of deep, agonizing routine. But in the middle of this routine, something happened that bypassed every established rule of the site. Among the crowds was a man who had been paralyzed for 38 years. He was a permanent fixture of the limestone, a man who had outlived his hope and his help. In the traditional narrative of the ancient world, a miracle required a transaction. You offered a sacrifice, you performed a ritual, or you were fast enough to reach the water first. But the archaeology of this event points to a sovereign act that ignored the water entirely. There was no stirring of the pool. There was no ritual cleansing. There was no prayer requested. Into the mundane misery of this first-century afternoon, a command was issued. Get up, pick up your mat, and walk. In that singular moment, the biology of a 38-year-old ailment was instantly undone. The limestone basins didn't change, the water didn't move, but the physical laws governing a human body were suspended by a higher sovereignty. This wasn't a gradual recovery, it was a lightning strike of grace that required no prior merit and no religious ceremony. To understand the weight of this disruption, we have to look at what sat just a few yards away. Archaeological excavations near the Bethesda complex have uncovered the remains of a Roman Asclepeion, a healing temple dedicated to the god Asclepius. This was the competing healthcare of the Roman world. These pagan sites were filled with votive offerings, stone carvings of ears, legs, and arms left by those hoping for a cure through dreams or expensive rituals. The presence of these ruins so close to Bethesda shows us the cultural tension of the time. The Roman medicinal cults were built on the idea that the gods had to be coaxed, bribed, or manipulated into helping. They were systems of effort and uncertainty, but the event at Bethesda rendered these cults obsolete in a single afternoon. While the pagans were carving stone ears to get their god's attention, the sovereign of the universe walked into a crowd of the forgotten and proved that he didn't need a temple or a ritual to act. The contrast is stark. On one side, the failed, expensive silence of the Asclepeion. On the other, the immediate, undeniable restoration of a man who didn't even know who had healed him. This is the geography of the unseen. We often treat miracles as if they exist in a vacuum, but they are anchored to these subterranean stone structures. The physical remnants of Bethesda serve as a bridge between our modern skepticism and the reality of the supernatural. In an increasingly digital age, where everything can be faked or filtered, these heavy limestone blocks offer a grounding truth. They are the silent witnesses to a moment when the Creator stepped into His creation and reminded it who was in charge. These topographical hotspots prove that the narrative of Scripture isn't just a collection of moral fables, it is a map of historical collisions. The data we gather from the soil aligns perfectly with the accounts of the miraculous. When we look at the five-porch architecture through the lens of modern archaeology, we aren't just looking at ancient ruins. We are looking at the crime scene of a miracle. The evidence suggests that the divine does not wait for perfect conditions to manifest. It doesn't wait for us to have our theology right, or our rituals polished, or our lives in order. It interrupts. It breaks in. It shatters the natural order whenever and wherever it chooses. The physical ruins of Jerusalem are more than just a museum. They are a testimony to the fact that reality is thinner than we think. The same sovereignty that hit the Pool of Bethesda, bypassing decades of suffering in a few seconds, is not a relic of the past. It is a persistent reality. These locations serve as anchors for faith because they prove that God is willing to get his hands dirty in the dust and the heat of our world. He is a God of the coordinate, the God of the specific, the God who finds the one man in a crowd of hundreds and changes his DNA with a sentence. As we move from the waters of Jerusalem toward the domestic life of the Galilee, we see that this pattern of intrusion only intensifies. The divine does not stay in the public squares or the religious centers. It follows us home. It enters our private spaces and our hidden struggles. The historical shattering of reality that we see here at Bethesda was not an isolated incident, but the beginning of a broader campaign of grace. The sovereign disruption we've explored today at the limestone silence of the pool is just the first breach. The evidence shows us that heaven is looking for entry points into our mundane world, and it rarely asks for permission before it arrives. Stay vigilant. The same authority that commanded a paralyzed man to walk in the 1st century is active in our current landscape, looking for the next place to break through. Next time, we travel north to the fishing village of Capernaum. We will go inside the tight, dark domestic spaces of a private home to see what happens when the roof is literally torn off to make way for the intrusion of grace. We will examine ancient graffiti that marks a specific room as the site of a cultural trauma. The moment a family home became a global landmark because of a single, sovereign act of healing. The geography of the unseen continues at the house of Peter,